What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Trader Shop. My name is Jay Seals, and today we are going to be doing another prop firm review, and this time it is going to be Trade Day. When we first started streaming, a lot of people were telling us about Trade Day. I finally gone and done some digging into their prop firm, and now I want to give you guys the information that I found. So we're going to be going over everything that Trade Day has to offer, their challenge accounts, their eval or their funded accounts, their live accounts, payouts, and everything in between, like we always do on these videos. But the first thing I want to bring you guys' attention to is the fact that Trade Day's ownership is actually like front and center. I don't think I've ever seen this on any of the other websites, not on Apex and not on TopStep. Now I know TopStep's owner is pretty outspoken type of guy, and he is front facing, but I don't believe he's on their website. I might be wrong, but dead center homepage is the two guys that started Trade Day. So if we come over here, they have their little story, which you guys can go on Trade Day and read about their story. But then they have their team and kind of the experience that they had. So James Thorpe has over 15 years of full-time trading experience. He's got 10 years of managing professional trading groups, CEO of a lot of different things. So the guy's got a lot of experience. You got Steve Miley. He has 10 years of experience. Founder of the Market Chartist Research Group, 13 years at Merrill Lynch, so very, very prestigious. And then Tara Vicker from Chicago has 10 years full-time European bond trading, 10 years part-time trading, investing from home. So just a lot of trading experience coming from Trade Day, which is always good to see as far as the owners go. If you guys are interested in supporting the channel and want to try a Trade Day account out for yourselves, then check the link down in the description and it'll take you over to Trade Day where you can try any of these accounts that I've gone over. The first thing we got to do is break down all the different account types that you can get. They actually offer a 10K tier, which I haven't seen before, or at least not many prop firms offer it, but they do offer a 10K. You got your 25, your 50, which is pretty standard. You got your 100K and then your 150K and 250K. So you basically get almost the same amount that you would get on like an Apex, but they don't have a 300. So 250 is as high as you get. But what is interesting is actually the profit target to trailing drawdown. First thing that I like is that it's an end of day trailing drawdown. So I really like the fact that it's not intraday, meaning if you are up, let's say $1,000 on a trade and you let it come back to only being up 500, they're not going to penalize you for that. So I really do like that. But then their profit targets are actually pretty reasonable, and they're the lowest that I've seen so far. So for the 10K, it's $1,000 profit target. You get $1,000 trailing drawdown. It's a 1-to-1. And you get 1 mini or 10 micros. For the 25K, which is a little bit more expensive, so you can see the prices here. It's $80. It's $100 for the 25K, but it's a 1,500 profit target and a 1,500 trailing drawdown, which I think for the 25K, that's pretty much across the board what all the other prop firms are offering, because most of them are 1-to-1s. And then it's a 2 contract or 20 micros. But then this is where it starts to get interesting, because the 50K is $132 per month, but it's a $2,500 profit goal. That's $500 less than what all the other prop firms, to my knowledge, are offering with a $2,000 trailing drawdown, which is really, really nice. Then you get your 5 contracts for 50 micros. That's pretty standard there. The 100Ks are going to be $220 a month. It's a $5,000 profit target, which is about $1,000 less than everybody else, with a $3,000 trailing max drawdown. And then you get 10 contracts or 50 micros, which is kind of weird. You think they would do 100 micros because that'd be a 1-to-1 ratio there, but it's not. Then we've got $300 for the 150K. It's an $8,500 profit target, which again, that's about $500 less. And it's $3,500 trailing max drawdown, which actually is about $500 less there too. So I guess right there, it's pretty close to what the industry standard is in this case, because you get less of a trailing drawdown, less profit target, but not great. Really wish they would go to like a 4,000 or 4,500. That'd be really nice, but that's what that is. And then it's got 15 contracts or 50 micros. Again, don't know why it wouldn't be 150 if they're going to give you 15 full-size contracts. The micros should also reflect, but That's what they've got. And then lastly, the 250K tier, $600 per month. It's $12,000 profit target and a $4,500 max trailing drawdown. I don't like this again. This would be what this should be. So not a big fan of the trailing max drawdown on the 250Ks. I wish it was more. I wish you got like $6,000 or maybe like $7,000 trailing drawdown for that one. But then you get 25 contracts again, or 50 micros. Again, don't know why you wouldn't just match them up. And then also comes with free one-on-one coaching too, which, I don't know what that entails, but you get it. So that is the breakdown for the eval accounts that you get through trade day. And just what I've seen is the 50Ks and the 100Ks are a really good deal as far as that profit target to max trailing drawdown. Those are probably the best that you'll probably see so far from all the prop firms that I've ever reviewed. Next, we've got to talk about how to pass this eval and what are the rules for the eval account. So they keep it pretty simple. There's only 3 objectives to pass the eval accounts. The first one is to trade a minimum of 7 trading days. Now, y'all know I don't like this. I don't like 7 days, right? You compare the other prop firms in the industry. You've got 5 days for take profit. You've got 2 days for Top Step, and you got 1 day for Apex. This 7 days, I think it needs to go. They need to make it shorter, but that's just my opinion. 7 days is how long it takes. The next thing is obviously you need to reach that profit target. Like I said, the profit targets are actually really nice. I like that about them. And then the last thing is to be consistent. No day greater than 30% of your total profits. Again, not a big fan of the consistency rule. I really wish it was higher than 30%. But when you think about it, the reason why it's low is because it's the 7 days. Because it takes 7 days, they want to see you be consistent. They don't want to see you hit it in just 1 day. So that's why the 30% is there. It makes sense that it's like that. Now, to actually blow the account, they have a couple of other rules. So rule 1, obviously, is you can't hit your max trailing drawdown. But then the other rules that they have is permitted times you have to trade within, and then the permitted products that you trade. And then also another rules, they have a news rule as well, which we'll get into. But these are the only rules that are really going to break. Obviously, I mean, you can't trade things that aren't permitted, so you don't have to worry about this one. But these 2 rules about the time and the trailing drawdown are the only 2 things that you really have to worry about to potentially blow your account. And then the other big thing is if you do end up blowing the account, it's a $99 reset. So just so you guys know, it's $99 across the board. No difference between accounts. Each account is going to be $99, or you can wait until the subscription renews. And when it renews at the end of the month, you will get that free reset, which, I mean, it's not really free because you're paying for it, but you guys get it. You want to make sure that you are avoiding trading certain news events. What I do like about trade day is that they lay them out so that you don't have to guess which news events you can't trade. So tier 1 economic data releases is something that they don't want you trading. They don't want you trading 2 minutes before the data releases, and they want you to wait until 2 minutes after the data releases to start trading. So just so you guys know, there's a 0 tolerance when it comes to those rules. So basically, they're just going to blow the account if you do end up trading, as well as because the profits can be crazy during these times. And remember that 30% rule that they have, you got to be really careful if you're going to trade after the 2 minutes. Really, FOMC is kind of hard to catch, but FOMC would be one of those. Really, what I think they're talking about more so with those windfall profits would be the decision for the interest rates during the actual press conference that Powell has. I would be careful with that. And then CPI, catching CPI after it comes out could be very, very volatile if, you can catch it correctly. U.S. unemployment, non-farm payrolls is another one that they don't want you trading. Crude oil inventories, natural gas inventories, and then crop production. So if you're trading trade day, just make sure you have these marked on your calendar. I mean, pretty much all traders track all these things, so you already know when these things are coming out. Just make sure that you're not trading during these times, and you'll be just fine. And then for the time for trading, just make sure that you close your positions 10 minutes before the close of the market. And one other massive thing to remember too, And something that you really have to stay on top of is those holidays when the market closes early, right? You don't want to be caught into a position on a holiday and the market's going to close, because that's definitely happened to you before, where I didn't realize we were having a half day and then the market closed and I was like, wait, I thought there was still, another few hours of trading. So just make sure that you know when the market's going to close. Make sure you hit that exit and clear button. That way you don't have any miscellaneous orders on, because I definitely have done that before too. The market, it closes at, I believe, 5 p.m. EST. I never really trade that late, but 5 p.m. EST, and it opens back up at 6. So you just got to make sure that you exit out of all your positions by 5:50 EST, and you'll be just fine. Make sure y'all hit that exit and clear button, y'all, because y'all don't want to mess that one up. I've done it before, so trust me on this. And then last is the permitted products that you can trade. You could trade pretty much everything. They got the ES, the MES, the NQ, MNQ, the Russell, the mini Russell. You got Nikkei, which I don't even know what that is, but you got it. You got Dow. Just everything. If you're coming from Forex, which I know a lot of people are coming over from the Forex world, they have all the Forex prop firm, or all the Forex pairs as well. Not all of them, but a good amount of them. Pretty much industry standard as far as what you can trade. They have pretty much everything. They got the crude oil, natural gas. They got gold, copper, silver. They got cattle. They got lean hog. If y'all know about lean hog, that's a running joke in the Discord. But yeah, they pretty much have every single different contract that you could trade. The one thing I don't see on here is Bitcoin, though. Some of them let you trade Bitcoin, some of them don't. Let's say Trade Day is not a Bitcoin or Ethereum futures, but everything else they've got. So I'll leave this linked in the description. So if you want to check it out, you can see if your preferred future of choice is here. The next thing we got to talk about is once you get funded, what ends up happening. So what's really cool about Trade Day is they actually give you a choice between how you want to be funded. You can either be funded sim, or you can be funded live. A lot of prop firms, they make you choose between the two, whether you want to be simulated funded or live funded. But on Trade Day, you actually get a choice. So I'm going to go over the differences between the two so that you can make the right choice for yourself when you actually end up getting there. So the first thing is that you have to pay a one-time setup fee for both of them, funded sim and funded live, of $139. And that's pretty much the industry standard again. But the cool thing about Trade Day is that's for all the size accounts. It doesn't matter which size account you get. On Top Step, it's the same thing, but on Apex, you got to pay more. So that's pretty cool that it is that cheap, and then it's just the one-time fee. The biggest pro to this is the fact that you're not trading the real live market. You're still trading simulation, right? So there's no real slippage rule at all. There's no slippage that you have to worry about because you're on a simulated platform, right? The biggest difference between the two is actually how long it takes to set up the funded sim between the funded live. Well, that's one of the big differences. So it only takes about 12 hours to set up the funded sim, where on the funded live account, now you're placed in the live market, so it takes about 5 days to set up the account. On top of that, not only do you have to pay the $139 to set it up, right, but you also have to pay an additional $135 per month. Now, I know you're probably thinking, oh, what? Another $135? Well, the reason why is because you got to pay for them market data fees, and you're not paying for the regular market data fees, which are like $40. You're paying for that professional market data fee, and that's why it's so expensive. Now, I don't know whether you get the level 2 or level 3 data. I'm not sure. I didn't even know there was level 3, but I guess there is. I know level 2. I'm not sure exactly what type of market data you're getting, but to go live, you have to pay that extra $135. On top of that, you do have slippage rules because you're in the live market. So I would say the biggest thing, if you're going to choose between the funded sim and the funded live, if you're brand new to trading or you haven't taken out a payout, or, maybe this is your first prop firm account ever, just go with the funded sim. Go with the funded sim and make your money, and basically make them put you into the funded live account, right? And I would honestly say that for anybody who's trading and trading prop, make them go put you in that funded live. Don't put yourself in the funded live if you have the choice. Now, the other thing that they tell you in here is that the profit split is 100% yours for the first 10K, and then it's 90% thereafter, which again, pretty much everybody's doing something similar to that. Some are more, some are less, but that's really good for the profit split. 90-10 is what you want to focus on anyway. That's going to be the best one for you. So yeah, I like this a lot. And I like the fact that they give you a choice between the funded live and funded sim, but just a little piece of advice, I would probably go with the funded sim over the live. Just me personally. Another thing that I really like about Trade Day is the fact that their rules are literally the exact same as their rules were in the eval stage. I really like how there's no difference here. Some prop firms, they try to change the game up on you. They change it from a end of day trailing drawdown to an intraday. They don't do that. It's still end of day. You still have to close out your positions 10 minutes before close. You can't trade those tier 1 news, and you got to trade the permitted products by trade day. The only rule that they added is for those live accounts and that slippage risk management rule. But other than that, everything is exactly the same, and I really like that about Trade Day. Unfortunately, Trade Day doesn't offer multiple accounts at the moment. You can only trade one account at a time. They only want to have you trade one account, but you can copy trade. So you can copy trade your own account with their accounts, but you can only have one account per household, and then you could copy trade, somewhere else. So I know if you use, like, let's say Quan Tower, you could get one Trade Day account and trade that account with all your other funded accounts and your personal account. You could do it like that. So, if you're looking for multiple accounts, then maybe Top Step or Take Profit or Apex would be a better solution. But if you're just looking for one account, or you're looking to add another account because you maxed out on all your other accounts and you're looking for another prop firm, then you could definitely make Trade Day work for you. Or if you're just brand new and you're trying to take it slow and you just want to just focus on one account right now to start out with, then Trade Day again would be a great choice. The payouts on Trade Day are probably one of the best things that they have as far as the prop firm goes. A lot of people, what they care about most, and what we should all really care about most, is actually getting to the money and getting to the payout. And Trade Day does a very good job of how they manage it. They're a lot like Take Profit in the sense that you can get it from day one. All you need to do is just clear that buffer, and then you can start taking out profit, and the minimum request is going to be $250. So we'll go over the buffer zones real fast for each account. So for a 10K account, your buffer is just your trailing max drawdown. So you need to hit $1,000. Once you've hit that $1,000 buffer, then you can start taking out profit. So your balance required is going to be, basically $11,000. So for the 25K account, you need 1,500 in your account. For the 50K, you need 2K. For the 100K, you need 3K. For the 150K, you need 3,500. And then for the 250K, you need 4,500 to be able to take out profit. What is actually kind of funny, now that I'm thinking about it, is the fact that their trailing drawdown is a little bit lower the higher you go is actually kind of a good and a bad thing, right? Because it's a good thing because you can make your money and get to your trailing drawdown a lot faster within the buffer zone, right? It's a bad thing because if you're trading not as well and you need more room, you could blow the account a lot faster. So kind of a double-edged sword there, but they do have a smaller trailing drawdown the higher you go. So that could play into your hands for getting to profit a bit faster. If you do go to the funded live account, it's basically the exact same thing, except for your starting balance ends up starting at 0 for each and every single one of them. But everything is the exact same for what you need to get to. It's just that your starting balance changes. So it's almost like just being in a real account. It's almost like you could just X-nay the account tier to a certain extent and just know that you got to get 1,000, 1,500, 2K, 3K, 3,500, and 4,500 for that 250K account before you can start withdrawing. But it's basically the exact same. One other really cool thing that they have that not a lot of other prop firms are doing currently, although I've seen some that have either tried or they do have, is the fact that you can actually get crypto. I'm not sure what cryptos they pay out, but they got an L1 crypto withdrawal and then an L2 crypto withdrawal. So they do pay out in crypto, which is pretty dope, especially if you're in a country where you can't necessarily like wire your money. Like obviously the US bank, you're not gonna be able to wire through that. But if you don't fall under like the international bank wire and all your country can deal with is crypto, then you can still trade with Trade Day and be able to get your profits. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. This prop firm reminds me a lot of Take Profit. If you guys haven't watched the video on Take Profit and want another prop firm that you can get your money very, very quickly when you're in your actual funded account, and they have multiple accounts that you can trade at the same time, then check out my review right over here.